Welcome back to the Deep Dive series, where each and every episode we take a look at a different NFL team and come up with a realistic outcome and prediction as we continue to go through these playoff contenders. Now we're on the Tennessee Titans. And remember, at the end of this series, we wrap this thing in a nice, pretty little bow into a 2023 NFL mock draft with the draft order I predicted. If you don't know, now you know. I'm actually on vacation this week. I'm out camping. So I actually recorded this Sunday. I'm just assuming no big news happens on the 4th of July, and I'm just really hoping nothing good happens today, so this video is still relevant. But I will have a the first one, the 2023 year, and you get a little insight on maybe who are some guys that I like. We're gonna take a look at. I haven't decided what mock draft I'm gonna look at, but I can't wait. It's a blast. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So let's take a look at this offense as we're in year 2 of Todd Downing, because last time he was off, he didn't get a year 2. You go back to his time in back then it was the Oakland Raiders, and he ended up getting fired after his one stint as OC. But Mike Vrabel, he's more forgiving. I think the phrase was he's about patience and not handing out pink slips. So he brought him back, and matter of fact, he was like, "Yo, let's go grab another offensive mind in Tim Kelly. He's gonna be the passing game coordinator, formerly OC for the Houston Texans, and they're gonna see if they could get this offense to look a bit better than it did last year. Granted, they dealt with injuries, mainly the engine to the offense, Derrick Henry, and they kind of had to call an audible because he is kind of the offense. So when it comes to actually what Todd Downing wants to do with this team, I don't think it's vastly that different from what Arthur Smith did, except for when it comes to the passing game. Because we saw with Todd Downing a lot more when he was coming up, when they call play action, because this team likes to call play action. When you have Derrick Henry, teams are going to want to stack the box, and you're going to want to hit them with the play action. And Arthur Smith likes to take those deep shots, and that played to Ryan Tannehill's strengths. But with Downing, he was a bit more about the underneath, and let's just say Tannehill didn't look so hot last year. But again, last year with this offense kind of felt like a bit of a what do they call it? A mulligan to some degree. But I think we're gonna see, in terms of the same type of like blocking scheme. They like a lot of outside zone, a lot of inside zone. They like run duo concepts, because when you got a big beefy boy like that, Derrick Henry, you want him just be like, hey, yo, get to that line and hit somebody. To be fair, this offensive line, I think, took a step backwards last year. When it's come, like, just taking a look at like Taylor Lewan, he's just not the same guy he's been in years past. He's dealt with injuries, though last year he was relatively healthy. I think he played 13 games, but he's not the same guy that he was just years ago. Nate Davis has yet to take that next step. When it comes to Dylan Radins, he's a bit of a question mark at right tackle. Now you're asking Jamarco Jones to come in and play left guard, who was just terrible for the Seahawks. So I don't know, is he a guy that could turn around? I don't have a lot of confidence in that. Really the only like consistency you have on this line is like Ben Jones. So yeah, that's a bit worrisome to me. When Derrick Henry went down, this team like doubled in terms of how often they called screen plays. So because they were still looking to get those teams to kind of like play at least a little closer to the line of scrimmage. I don't know if that's something necessarily that they're going to replicate this year, though. Treylon Burks is actually a wonderful guy to get on a screen pass. But Yeah, no, for all intents and purposes, I think this is still a team that wants teams to stack the box on them. I think that was clear when in the fourth round they go after, here, let's scroll down here, Hassan Haskins, who he's a fine, like, big power back, but he's not Derrick Henry. He's not going to do the same type of things. Derrick Henry's built different, quite literally. So, I mean, I think that it's unfair. That really feels like it's kind of your red button. Like, okay, Derrick Henry's down. We got Hassan Haskins. I don't think Haskins is that. But I am a bit curious to see what Tim Kelly will bring to this offense. I don't think they're going to be straying away from 12 and 13 personnel. That's kind of what they do, and why not when you have Derrick Henry in the backfield. But maybe we see a bit more 3 wide receiver sets. I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to see what year 2 of Todd Downing looks like. But let's go ahead and talk about this offense. It's like I kind of railed through the offensive line and my concerns with it, and it's not like the depth is good. They bring in Nicholas Petit-Frere. Apparently they got him lined up at tackle, a guy that I think could start guard early. Aaron Brewer, a guy that was with the squad last year. And they really have a bunch of UDFAs. Like, if injury happens, I'm not going to lie, man, I think there's a lot of concern. A lot of concern. If injury happens along that offensive line, it looks like this team could be down bad. I mean... like, looking at a couple of their UDFAs, like Hayden Howerton, I don't know, SMU guard. Like, he was all right, but deserved to be a UDFA. Jalen McKenzie was a guy that just never ascended or reached the possible upside that he has there at USC. So does he do it in the NFL? And again, these are questions that are going to be more long term. I don't feel great about the offensive line. I just don't. When it comes to who's in the backfield, Derrick Henry, I mean, I feel like that's about it. Like Hassan Haskins, he's fine. He's a power back. That's short yardage, red zone. That's his stuff. Dontrell Hilliard is good depth. Trenton Cannon's probably going to be more of a special teamer, scat back, if you will. They bring in Jordan Wilkins, who honestly could contend for a spot, but it's going to be very interested. As long as Derrick Henry's healthy, I think this offense is still going to be pretty darn good. Ryan Tannehill, I think if they try to like stray more back to Tannehill attacking deep, the dude's got a big arm. Just let it rip. You got Treylon Burks, who's a very wonderful vertical target. The he's a big boy. You could say the same about some of the backups they have there. And Racey McMath, though, he's more of a special teamer than an actual receiver. Kyle Phillips, though, is also another wonderful vertical target, but a very quick route runner as well. Like, that dude's pretty good. I think he could probably see the field quite a bit. You still got Nick Westbrook. You bring in Robert Woods, who's a very based receiver. I guess that's what I'm looking for. He does a lot of different things well. Like Josh Malone was all right for, where was he at last? Cincy, right? I think it was Cincy. Reggie Robertson, I'm excited about that as a UDFA. Y'all got a couple of SMU guys. Okay. I'm excited about him because he's another cat that just does a lot of things well. Don't know if he makes the roster, though. They do have Dez Fitzpatrick. I'm not a big fan of Dez. I didn't like him in the draft. I thought he was a reach back in 2021. And then there's Mason Kinsey, another guy that's probably a special teamer if he makes a squad. So, Treylon Burks is wonderful, but, him, Robert Woods, I don't know, man. There's a lot of questions I would say I would have about the receivers. Just right now, obviously a lot of that can clear up as the season goes on. Maybe Dez makes a steps up. I don't know, man. Just you're going into this with Robert Woods is your guy, you're hoping Treylon Burks ends up being just a wonderful pick. But even then, it's like, it looks like you just got a bunch of depth pieces. I like what they've done at tight end. You got Austin Hooper, a very, very solid tight end. They got Swam there, but I really think Okonkwo ends up being like the tight end too. Just what he can do as a receiver and how versatile he is as a tight end too. A guy you can move into the backfield as like a downhill blocker. Like the cat's good. He's flexible. I'm a big fan of his. Yeah. I don't think we see Malik Willis. I hope we don't see Malik Willis. He's a guy that's just not ready to start now, but very wonderful guy to develop. Overall, I don't feel great about this offense. I like some of the parts. I think for me, the biggest question comes down to my biggest two questions is will they try to attack downfield more often? And how will the offensive line hold up? Because this isn't the same offensive line Derrick Henry has had in years past. Back when he had Roger Saffold, Jack Conklin. So it's a very different offensive line. With that being said, I guess let's go ahead. Move to the defense because I'm freaking excited. Shane Bowen has done a wonderful job. And this defense is definitely a top 10 defense. One of the best in the league. They're good at creating turnovers. They're good at creating pressure without blitzing. Like what they do, like schematically, like they just do a lot of things different. They give the offense a lot of different looks. They'll jump from 5-man fronts, 4-man fronts to like 2-man fronts, maybe even 1-man fronts. And they just got a bunch of guys at linebacker or just off the line of scrimmage. So it's like, it's insane. I love it. Like I said earlier, they don't really rely on blitzes, but they I think last year they were 28th in terms of their blitz rate, but they use a lot of stunts and delays. They're very creative with how they generate pressure. When it comes to their coverage, this isn't like a Dean Pease squad from years past where they were playing a lot of man. They've actually started to play into a lot of zone, and though they like to stack the box and show a cover one shell, but you kind of get the gist of when they want to play these coverages. Like man, you'll typically see it in like trips or in the red zone, and then typically they're playing zone on like less condensed formations. So they got like a wealth of depth when it comes to that. Like they got a lot of different guys that can do a lot of different things. And we can start with secondary actually, because I'm excited for Christian Fulton and Caleb Farley. Hopefully both can stay healthy. Christian Fulton, man, I thought had a coming out party last year, looked really good. Farley, just hope he can stay healthy. He's your first rounder from 2021. But those are two guys that are very good athletically, that can play zone, off ball, press. Man, they can do whatever you ask them to. They're that athletically gifted. Elijah Molden might be one of the best slots in the league. Mark my words, this cat is extremely good. I think they got quality depth. Chris Jackson, when called upon last year, he could step up. Like that's a guy I have no problem with if we need someone to step up because of injury. They went ahead and grabbed Roger McCreary, while I thought the NFL probably looks at him as a guy with not ideal length on the outside. It's something he did his whole career there at Auburn. He was a very good player. He's got very good press technique, and a cat that can play in the slot if you need him to. So he's got a bit of versatility in that regard. So like, yo, watch out. Monty Hooker looked freaking wonderful last year, and actually getting his first taste of like truly being the full-time starter for last season. Kevin Byard is just wonderful, just good. I don't like the safety depth too much. They bring in AJ Moore, not a fan, and Theo Jackson they drafted in the 6th round out of Tennessee, guy that I actually didn't look at until after the draft process, like after the draft initially, because I did a video with Tyler Upload, and I was like, I really don't know much about Theo Jackson. Let me go back and take a look at him. But he was all right. He was a guy that was very flexible, another guy that could play deep, play in the box, play in the slot. So you get a bit of versatility there. But again, it's a rookie. You typically don't want to rely on a rookie. But I mean, Buster Skrine's very good depth, so I really like what they got going on in the secondary here. One UDFA to really look out for, I think, is Trey Avery out of Rutgers. Watch out for that cat. Just a dude that has a lot of experience in a lot of different coverages. Going on linebacker position, I thought Zach Cunningham might have been a cap casualty, but they restructured his contract, which is good. He was the run stuffer that they needed because Rashad Evans, the one thing he could do good, he stopped doing good. So Cunningham's actually one of the better, I would say, a very solid run stuffer there. They have speed in David Long and Monty Rice. Monty Rice, though, I think he's hurt, didn't participate in OTAs, but they bring in Chance Campbell out of Ole Miss, who was just a physical monster. A guy to watch out for, a guy that you actually could, if they were to blitz, a dude that's very adept at that. So I like what they got going on there. Harold Landry is like an Iron Man. This cat, he can do a lot of different things for you. Bud Dupree, I think he's a big bust of a sign. I wasn't like a big fan of his. He's like Dante Fowler to me. But hopefully maybe he steps up. I know he was hurt last year. Rashad Weaver, the little parts we saw from him before he got hurt, I thought we saw some promise with him. They bring in David Nenny. I'm terrible with names, by the way, but undersized pass rusher out of Houston, who was very successful at Houston. I was kind of curious, does he stay at pass rusher? Probably. Doesn't have a lot of coverage experience. But I like what they got going on there. Like I said, this team likes to generate pass rush just by really being deceptive with what they're doing, and Danico Autry, Jeffrey Simmons are perfect guys to do it in that regard. They are so darn good. Laryl Murchison, I think, is solid depth. Them NC State defensive linemen, man, they're always like quality depth in the NFL. I don't know what it is. DeMarcus Walker's fine depth as well, kind of a journeyman. Sean Hand, you can kind of hold him in that same regard. I actually kind of like, they got a couple of UDFAs I really like in Haskell Garrett and Jaden Peavy. So those are maybe guys to watch out for, maybe make the roster. Tier Tart hasn't really taken that next step, at least in terms of being the nose. But to be fair, like, I think he saw like 400 or 500 snaps, and like maybe 250 of them were actually at nose tackle. Oh man, let me confirm. No, short. It was too much. It's 125, 250. I just doubled it on accident. He saw 125 at the nose, but he did play a little under 350. So, but again, that's a guy. I don't know if he's gonna take that next jump, but he was a guy I was pretty high on coming out of 2020. I say pretty high. I had him as a day 3, and he ends up going UDFA, but I got Naquan Jones there too. But like I said, this team's got depth on defense. I think this defense is going to be what keeps them afloat as long as Derrick Henry can stay healthy. I'm very excited with what this team brings. I guess with that being said, let's go ahead, get to my projected starters. And I do project stars not based on your base defenses, base formations, but based on who's going to be seeing the field the most, because that's going to dictate how well you do. So let's go ahead to the Tennessee Titans. I actually don't have it ready for me up here. Where you at? There it is. Going with stars, starting with the offense. We got Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, as long as everything is A-OK with him. And then Robert Woods, Treylon Burks. And to be fair, Derrick Henry apparently looks amazing in camp. Best shape of his life. Little icing on the top there. Treylon Burks. Then at tight end, I got him running. They were one of the teams that run a lot of 12 personnel, so I have 2 tight ends with Hooper and Okonkwo. Like I said, I think that's a guy that can really, he's so versatile that I think he's just going to find the field. And then Taylor Lewan, Jamarco Jones, Ben Jones, Nate Davis, and Dylan Radins. Like I said, this offensive line for me is the biggest question mark. Going to the defense, Harold Landry, Bud Dupree, Jeffrey Simmons, Danico Autry, and then David Long, Zach Cunningham, Caleb Farley, as long as you can stay healthy, my friend, Christian Fulton, Elijah Molden, Kevin Byard, and Amani Hooker. They actually bring back the same stars as last year. Why not? That defense was hella good. So let's go ahead with my predictions for this squad as I have them going 10-7, just missing the playoffs. To be fair, the AFC is exceptionally hard, and I think it's going to be exceptionally tight. It sounds weird, but where I have this team really struggling against is against winning teams. I got them 4-2 in the division. I got them 5-6 against winning teams. And yeah, I mean, let's go through the schedule as they start with the Giants, which it's like, okay, no, they're better than the Giants, but Bills, Raiders, those aren't going to be easy matchups. And you got to go to Indianapolis, face the Colts, the now Matt Ryan Colts. So I think it's really going to be the Colts and Titans just competing for this division. I don't expect that big of a jump up for the Texans or the Jags, but these are 2 very good teams, and for me, it could go either or. I think the Titans and the Colts are very close. And then before they they go to Washington, and then they come out. That's crazy that you get the Colts twice in the first 7 weeks. So it's like that's just the crazy thing, because like down the stretch, this is where I have this team getting a lot of wins down the stretch as they finish the season 4, 5, 6, 6-1. Yeah, I got y'all losing to the Jags once. I think y'all lost last year to the Jags once, didn't y'all? Not positive, but going 6-1 down the stretch. Yep, 6-1. But like, look at this schedule after the bye. You got Colts, Texans. I think Texans are going to be a competitive team, but still should be a win for the Titans. And the Chiefs, the Broncos. Like, having to face the AFC West just sucks. Like, I got y'all beating the Chargers. Like, come on, I'm throwing y'all a bone there. That's gonna be a tough Chargers team that's gonna be competing for the playoffs as well. Got y'all beating the Bengals. Like, dude, this schedule's tough. Like for your other 2 AFC games, you get Bills, Bengals. Talk about short end of the stick. That just sucks. Luckily, you do get the NFC East, which might be the easiest division. Yeah, I would say it's still the easiest division. As I mean, really, the only 2 teams that are pretty challenging from that division are the Cowboys and the Eagles. And it's not like let's be honest, Washington's gonna be a tough game. Like, Washington's gonna be a competitive game because that's a good defense, as long as they can stay healthy. Even though I don't really like what they do. I think they're pretty predictable on defense. But like, that was a team that got good down the year, so maybe they come back with that same type of momentum to start the year. That Washington team, their last 4 games was like 3 of them, or I think it was 3 of them was decided by like 10 points or less. Like, this was a team that played really good out of their bye. But yeah, no, let me know what you think, Titan fans. I would say definitely offensive line is the biggest concern for me. Just considering if you're gonna run on the engine known as Derrick Henry, then you better be very good at the offensive line. And really, the only question mark I don't have, I would say, is Ben Jones and honestly Nate Davis. Like, even Nate Davis, like, even if it doesn't take that next step, he's an above average starter. Like, Jamarco Jones, worrisome. Dylan Radins, I'm high on. I think he'll do well at right tackle. And then Taylor Lewan just hasn't been trending in the right direction for the last couple of seasons. So I don't know. We'll see. You let me know in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube cleaner as always. Till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.